Uh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I got my hair wrapped up. I just finished a medicine bath. I am not all done up because I had to come on and talk to you about my trip to Mount Shasta and to talk about the experience that we had and then talk about DC, PRN, and planet corrections. How I'm going to show you how you can become a light nurse of your life. Yeah, you heard me right. PRN, DC, planet corrections are nursing terms. And anyone that's a nurse will understand what I'm talking about. But I'm going to show you the magic of it. Welcome to Be So Light. And first of all, can I just talk to you? Welcome to my boudoir. I'm sitting in my bed, lounging in my purple. Hair is wrapped up because it's all oiled up with moistures and beautiful rose oils and all the essential things, and just came out of a wonderful salt bath. And you know how you feel when you get out of a salt bath? You feel refreshed, you feel refined, you feel like lovely. Okay. So, first of all, let me just first say this offhand. Welcome to Be So Light. But let me say this. Thank you to my new subscribers. And YouTube, I have a message for you. Now, YouTube, what do, what do? I'm very, very, very thinking. Did you understand my message about the cause and effect of universal law? I think you did. Because the next thing I knew, all of a sudden I started getting subscribers. It's only taken me 4 years to get over now 100 subscribers. Yay! That's supplies. I know, 4 years. I know. Just go with it, people. Just go with it. Yay! If it would have been any slower, it would have been a sloth. It would have been a snail. Who would have ever known? All they had to throw out was universal law. I think we need to start using that up and down the roads everywhere we go now. Universal law. Nobody escapes it. Everybody sees it. Nobody, nobody escapes it. It's all seen. So, with that being said, welcome to Be So Light. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Priestess Makala, also known as Felicia, also known as Niana. Why so many names? Well, my mother called me Felicia when I was born. Then I got Priestess Makala after I went through my Sundance ceremony. Getting that. That was a name that I got as I was going into the medicine of that, my spiritual journey. First time sitting out and doing a vision quest, my very first vision quest, before I even approached a commitment to Sundance. I got that name, Priestess Makala. Then, when I met the family in Puerto Rico, the Taino tribe, and I was adopted into their tribe, and for good reason because I found my spirit father there, and the spirit energy of my spirit father, and then recognizing his wife and everything that we have journeyed together before. And when you have a connection with people like that and it comes on so fast, and you recognize their souls and you recognize the journey that you were on. And you know what? When you have those moments, cherish those moments because you never know what's going to happen that causes you not to see that person anymore. So my spirit father is not around anymore. But I got to have 3.5 years with him every time I would travel to Puerto Rico. And, he, after Maria hit and the devastation of that was a lot of stress on his heart. And there was death in his family. And then he had a massive heart attack. And that was a sad day because I was in Mount Shasta doing a ceremony on the mountain with the sacred rattle, my maraca at that time, doing medicine. And it was so funny. It was so strange because I was on on the mountain with my friend Tara, and we're doing this. I said I got to go to the mountain. I have to, you know, sing a song. I have to do my maraca, and I have to um, connect with the vibration and send out the essence of love and everything. For some reason spirit was keeping it hidden, didn't want me to know that my spirit father had passed. And man, when I got the phone call, I was devastated. And I'm so grateful that when I got that phone call, I was in Mount Shasta. Here's the thing, this is how this mountain works. I love this mountain. I never get tired of this mountain. This mountain has so much medicine. And I hope one day those of you that live in Northern California, that live, in California, or even if you're out of state and you've never been to Mount Shasta, I hope one day this mountain calls you, or it might even be calling you now. You don't even know it, to come and see it, because it's all about activation. It's all about stepping into a different timeline, stepping into a different vibration. It's all about, it's going to trigger your body to let go of old stuff. It's going to be a healer. And I know it's a healer because that's how I got introduced to the mountain in the first place. So I have a good story for you tonight and some good teachings. So let me finish this part up. So I'm on the mountain and I get a phone call that he's passed. And earlier that day, it was kind of strange because we were trying to make up our mind if we were going to stay one more night or if we were going to go ahead and make the drive back to Sacramento and just come back down. But we were trying to make up our mind. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't know if we should stay. But when I got the phone call, I was in such a state of, come on in, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on in. Come on, baby. Come on and sit down and warm yourself by the sit down. Oh, you're so precious. Yes, you are. Want to sit by the heater. Go ahead, sit down. So it's a kitty kitty. Cats. Anyway, so we were trying to make up our mind if we were gonna stay or if we were gonna head back down the mountain. And then afterwards, after I got the news, I was jacked up. I was like an emotional state. First, I didn't want to believe it. First, I was really mean to the person who was delivering it to me because I thought they were being mean to me and was trying to hurt me and was playing a practical joke on me. But there was just something in my mind I didn't want to believe it was true. I thought they were playing, and then it was like, no, we're telling you the truth. And then finally, what ended up happening, um, the wife had to call me because she was already going through the devastation of it. And then she says, honey, yes, it's true. I can't talk to you right now. I said, okay, now it clicked. So we ended up staying. And I remember when I was in Soul Connection, I saw this medicine basket, and it's actually sitting right next to me, that I wanted to get, but for some reason I was still in that timeline of lack and scarcity and all this shenanigans, which we're going to talk about tonight. And I didn't want to get it. I wanted to budget out, and I said, I'll come back next time. Listen to what I'm saying. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. I'll come back next time and get it. There is not always a next time. And I want you to hear me when I say this, because too many times we do this thing when we go out and we say, oh, I'll come back next time and get it. Oh, I'll come back next time and get it. I'll do it later. Oh, next time when we come back up here, I'll get that. Next time when I travel through here, I'll get that. There's not always going to be a next time. Okay. So what happened? I don't know. I just like flipped in my head, and I'm walking down with my friend into Soul Connection. They said, oh, you're back again. And I break down and start just crying. And they're like, what happened? And then my friend says, she just got bad news on the phone. we're going to stay another night in town. And she just got bad news. And I just was in soul connection. I was just sobbing and I was just sobbing. And I saw the basket and I grabbed it and I said, and I said right then and there, I am no longer going to be living my life by, oh, I'll get it later. Because that moment showed me there is no promise of a later. I just lost my spirit dad. So I was in this Desiree. So what happened? I went on a shopping spree. And everything that I wanted to get, I said, F it, I'm going to get it right now. You just never know if you're going to be here or not. I snapped out of that lack mentality in my mind. And I got everything. We went back to the hotel room and, we booked the room and I told the lady what happened. I think she even gave us a discount. She says, I'm so sorry for your loss, gave us a discount. And that was a healing magic time in Mount Shasta for me with that, besides the very first time that I went. Now, let's move to a new timeline. Let's move to the new organic timeline of what happened yesterday. So, yesterday, we take off and go up to Shasta. And I said, okay, I know this is a medicine time. We need to be going up there. I wanted to go on my birthday, but it wasn't aligned. So we went ahead and went up. And we're going up, and it's nice drive up, no shenanigans, no weirdness, no nothing. Just a couple little things that we saw that was like, And then as we're driving, getting closer to the mountains, we see these strange cloud formation, and I'm like, what's going on with those cloud formation? What's up with that? Hmm. But it was coming from a different mountain, and it was floating over in front of Mount Shasta, the mountain of Shasta. And I was like, what's it doing? And it was gray color. Wasn't white, it was a gray color. And I said, they look like nanoparticles. I was getting upset about it. So anyway, I kind of kept watching and I said, what is that? It's gray. It doesn't look like. First we thought it was like smoke, but it wasn't acting like smoke. Then it just kept getting bigger and then it turned into this big grayish looking cloud. And I said, oh, I was going to try and take that mountain down. Now, let me tell you, the mountain was covered in so much snow. It looked like a huge, big crystal sitting there. It just emanated so much glow, so much frequency was coming off of the mountain. It was just so beautiful. I was just like, oh my God, never gets old. I was just like, I love this mountain. So we drive into town, and this time we did something different. We went to Soul Connection first and went in there and I got a couple things. I got some plant medicines. I got some one of the other insects that I like. I love that. And then got this really neat stone. And I've never seen this before. And it's called a violet fluoride. Violet fluoride. And I want you to look it up. That's going to be your homework assignment. If you come on here, look it up. And I'm not going to tell you what it does, but I guarantee you, after you look it up, what do, I guarantee you, you're going to be getting one. Because after, we saw it, he had all these stones and everything in towards the back that were like 50% off. And I said, oh, that's right. He's gone to Tucson to go pick out all these new things. People are in Tucson right now. Sage Goddess is in Tucson. She'll be doing her thing out there. Um, Soul Connections out there. Planet Earth Rising will be out there. All these places that we like to go to and visit. Everybody, beads and crystals on Douglas, they'll be out there, going out there shopping, getting their groove on with their crystal. Serenity Spot, I'm not sure if they'll be out there. They probably will be. I'm not sure. It is a trip, but it's so worth it when you go out there because you get to get these crystals at such a discount. So anyway, got that there, got another laser. And so After we get all the medicine together, it's time to go to the mountain. So we're thinking, okay, there was a lot of snow dumped on the mountain. And the reason why we went is because my friend had a dream. And in the dream, it had all these details in it that we were doing this with a portal up in Shasta, da 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 da. Da. And this is where the inspiration came that we need to go. So went ahead and drove up there, and I kept feeling, and she was feeling it too. I said, we might not be able to get all the way up to the top. I said, yeah, we might not be able to do that. So we're driving, and as we're driving, sure enough, we can't go any further. They closed the gate. We couldn't even get to Bunny Flat, and there was that much snow. And I said, "Wow, look at this snow!" And it was just glowing. It was just this white, fluffy snow. It was just I was like, "Oh my god, look at the snow." It never gets old because there's always something new. But you can feel the codes in it. You can feel the frequency in it. You can feel the newness in it. And I was just like, "Wow." So I had already brought my Tibetan bells with me. And I went ahead. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you, like and subscribe. Yay! So anyway, sorry I digress. So I brought the bells with me, and I only played the bigger bell, but I had my laser crystal, and I said, "What do you want me to do?" I'm asking Spirit, "What do you want me to do?" And Spirit just says, "Just be open." And she wanted to find a spot where the sunlight was coming through the tree. We saw a spot. I was like, "Oh well, we're already past it. Let's just keep going." Well, we should go back. Okay, fine, we'll go back. So went back, and she got out, did her thing, and I got out, and I was listening to Spirit, and Spirit was saying, "Go towards where the tree is." Couldn't go very far because it was a wall of snow, and I had to stand right where the sunlight was coming in, and I took a picture of it and I put it on my Instagram, Priestess Michaela 333 Instagram. So I posted it, and it was in that moment when I was standing there, it was cold. So I had my cap on, my hood. I said, wow, it's really cool. Ooh, those of you that follow me pretty much, you saw how I was when I was in Arizona, and they had snow, and I was freezing out there. Darling. So it was cold. And so we're out there, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, okay, so I go into this thing and I start writing the light language in the air, and I'm feeling the codes, and I ground it into the earth, and give thanks. And people are kind of like passing by because they can go very far either. And they're kind of passing by and they're looking and they're like, I'm like, just giving thanks for the snow. You know how we need the water, us Californians, hello. And they're like, yeah, that's right, that's right. So I do the release of it, and I'm doing it. And then I was going to not bother with the bells because I was thinking not to disturb anybody. But Spirit says, no, you're in your medicine. Go ahead and do your bells. So I went and grabbed my bell, and I stood up back in that same spot, and I started doing the bells again. And as soon as I started doing the bells, I kid you not, I saw this spiraling of like wind and snow slowly coming through the trees, coming straight towards me. And it was gentle. It wasn't like a big force of energy coming down on me. I was, please see us here. Let's let her, it wasn't doing that to me. It was like gently coming in. It's like, hi, priestess, how are you? And it was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting ready to dance with the love of the wind coming in, and the the releasing of the snowflakes off of the leaves of the pine and trees. And oh, it was just a moment in time that was just so wonderful, and to feel that and to connect with that. And I said, this is living in the now. This is living. This is happy. This feels good. This is love. This is connection. Not a worry in the world. So after I did that, I go back to the car because I'm freezing now. She's freezing. We both go back to the car. Then we guys, kind of calibrate our way down into the snow area, And then we start seeing the clouds again. We start getting sucked up into the clouds. What are the clouds doing? We're seeing like a trail go by and like, is it a chemtrail? What is that? We're like, what is that? We're looking, but it makes a formation in the sky like a triangle. And I said, what is that? And then we're looking, and then this golden like light starts coming up through the sky. And I said, there's that light. And we're looking, we stop, we pull off on the side road, we're looking. She gets out, she does the filming thing, she's looking. I'm still sitting in the car and I'm looking. And then I roll the window down and I start speaking light language. And as soon as I started speaking it, the wind starts coming up. And then watching the clouds because there's only like one cloud that's really moving really fast. And that's one of the reasons why we pulled off to the side of the road because we're watching it and it's moving. And so after it's moving, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. And so she gets back in the car, and then all of a sudden I hear the portal is open and I could see it. I said, get out of the car. The portal's open. Get out of the car. And we get out of the car. We face in the direction where it is, and we're just watching and watch something. She saw something disappear. I was just like in all the awe, and I felt the pressure and all the different frequencies coming through. And then it was just in that moment, I was like, wow, this is really awesome. And that was it. We just had to be there to witness that and to anchor that and to be in that and just get that. And that was that moment. And it was such a moment to be in that. And I loved it. So then I had a craving for French fries. I had to have some French fries. I had to get them. It was worth it. It was good. I enjoyed it. Then I needed some digestive enzymes. so so I'm 57 now. I have to have a little maintenance going on. There's nothing wrong with it. I needed a little maintenance. So we go by Berryville. It's a store. It's a natural food store there. So she goes in. As she's in there, I'm eating my French fries. And then that's when I get the 411. Girl, you better get some digestive enzymes. You got a 3.5 hour drive back. So we thought it was going to be 3.5 hours. It felt like 2 hours to us. So she goes in, she's in there, and finally she comes out, and I'm done with the fries. And I go, okay. She goes, I gotta go in and get some digestive enzyme. And here's the medicine. Here's the magic of how Shasta is. She goes, it's crazy in there. Crazy people are crazy. They're shuffling around, and there are like tons of people in there. There's lines in there. People are just like, and she says they were all in my space, and I just and I said, oh, I don't. I said, no, I'm not gonna have that. I ain't got time for that. That's all I said, and I get out of the car. So I'm walking, and I go in, and I see all these people. Feel all this chaotic energy, and I'm like. And I said, just like this, and this is the medicine. This is why I'm sharing this with you. This is the power in your words. Because this is what we're in now. This is what this whole year is going to represent. And this is what everybody has to get. How are you using your words? What you doing? So I go in there and I see all the chaos, and I'm like, ooh, this will turn out. And then I just said, I am not going to wait in any line. I'm going to be able to walk up and just walk straight up and pay and get out of here. And there's not going to be anybody standing behind me. And all this chaotic energy, goodbye. So I looked for my thing. I was only in there maybe for 5 minutes. I was not in there that long. I knew exactly where I needed to go get what I needed. I went, found it, got it. They didn't have the fennel. I walked over to the other side. I was looking for papaya. They didn't have it. They had the mangoes. I thought, fine, I'll get it. I turn around. I come back up to the front. Nobody's up there, just the cashiers. No line, no chaos. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. I walk straight up and I go, hi. He goes, hi. Brings me up. Nobody's standing behind me. I'm like, no, no. None of what I saw when I first went in there, gone, completely gone. So I get back to the car and I go, well, I just wipe that place out. And she go, "What'd you do?" I said, I didn't want to be a part of that energy. That's all I can do. Ah! So let's talk about something. Now I was in the wonderfulness of Shasta, and I love Shasta. That'll never get old to me. There's so much medicine up there, and I just never understand some people that always say, "Oh, one day I'm going to get up there." Your one day has already come and gone, and if you have not gone yet, your one day you might not ever get up there. Stop saying you're going to go one day and you just never go. Just don't say it anymore. You're just not interested. It's not calling to you yet, but it will. So let's talk about something. Let's talk about DC, and I'm not talking about Marvel. I'm not talking about DC comic books. D/C, nursing term. Let's talk about PRN, nursing term. Let's talk about plan of correction, nursing term. Now, how am I going to take these terms and magically teach you something on how you can use it? Are you ready? Say you're ready because I'm ready to give it to you. What do? Here it comes. DC stands for discontinue. What do you want to discontinue in your life? You need to just say, you know what? I'm really tired of this. I'm going to DC. Discontinue. See yourself writing DC on an issue. Then put a number 9 on it and circle it. You DC'd it 9 times. Okay? Discontinued. Because in order to discontinue something, in order to put a new order, you got to discontinue the old order in order to create the new one. Your subconscious mind and your super subconscious mind is constantly taking in everything of what you're keeping going, cycles, beliefs, fear, anxiety, depressions, whatever it is. It's constantly obeying your every wish every time when you say something until you say DC. Now, when you finally make up your mind what you're going to DC in your life, rather it be that job you're working that's not paying you correctly. And let me share something else, Francesca. And I almost forgot about this. This is really cool. So before we went up to the mountain, I'm tying this all in, how important this is. What I just said about the job thing, when you got to DC something, okay? So we went into Soul Connection. Then after we got what we needed, we went next door to the glass shop. There's another little shop. Last time when we were up there, I wanted to go in there, but she was gone. She had closed early. She wasn't open, or it was late or something. It was past 5. So she wasn't there. And there was something in there that I wanted very much. Now, this is the famous glass. I have a huge gallon size one that I keep my water in. And then I have 2 other ones in storage, and I have another one in the car. But I really wanted another one that was the Metatron's Cube. This has the Metatron's Cube as well as the Flower of Life. And on the front of it, it has love, light, truth, harmony, wisdom, vitality. In the middle of it, it says, I am. Now, I'm going to share something with you. I told you tonight this is all about medicine. This is all about how we think when we're always thinking, oh, I'll get it later. Oh, I'll do it later. No, 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 no. I'm gonna pull a Rocky on you. There is no tomorrow. Here we go. So I'll pull a Rocky on you. There is no tomorrow. Remember when Rock was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And Paul was like, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Anyway, Rocky Man. So we go into Never a boring moment. We go into the glass shop, and I'm walking in there, and I was gonna take the one that was in the window, and my friend says, "No, no, they're on the shelf right here." And she only had like I think two or three on the shelf. So I was just like, "Okay, $42, no problem, whatever." I didn't care. I didn't get in my head about the price. I didn't care. I was like, "This is what I desire. This is what I'm being told I need to get. I don't want to get this because I'm going to be working with this." So when I get the bottle, I touch the bottle and I immediately I'm seeing water in it. And I said, "Oh, I got to get water in this." And I said, "Oh, I want water in this." Spirit tells me, "Oh, ask her after you pay for it, ask her for if she would put water in it. She has a filter." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I go up there and I pay for it. And then she has this. I'm going to tell you about this guy. I've seen him before. That was up on the counter and it had a little sticker on it for free. She has several pictures of it for free. So she takes my bottle and I said, "Would you mind if I had some Shasta water put in that for me, please?" And she goes, "I'd love to give you some water." And I said, "Thank you." She goes, "I'm gonna rinse it out for you." And I said, "Thank you, I appreciate that." And she goes, "And my water has a filter on it." I said, "I know. That's why I'm asking for the water because they told me you had a filter system." And she goes, "Oh." So then my friend, she had hers in in her hand. She was gonna get it, and then she goes, "No, I'll get it later." And then in my mind, I said, "Don't wait till later, honey. Get it, because tomorrow's not always promised for us to get to places or do whatever. Get what you desire." I just said it in my mind. And then she goes, "You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get it." I go, "Yay! We both have our bottles." So I was all excited. I was like, "Yay!" So she too got water also. And then she too also got this guy. Now, this guy is Adam, Adamant. He is an ambassador for the mountain, inside the mountain. He lives inside the mountain. Now, I want you to pay attention to something. I just got this and I grabbed it and I held it up. Everything turned like this gold color. Let's put it down. Okay, you watching? Watch. Yeah, he got a little something something going on. Anyway, not making fun of you. Um, he's an ambassador, and he's a high priest of the Lemurian city of Tolos. And he's a physical city of the immortals within Mount Shasta. Now, let me tell you something. Those of you who've been following me for a long time on this channel, I've told you stories about Mount Shasta. I told you about the rock story. I told you about the first time I went up there. I told you about them strange beings that were sitting on the little park chair thing, and they had these little jumpsuits on that didn't look like our timeline. They didn't look right. They really didn't. They didn't look right. So they look out of date. They look their little outfits that they had on. It looked like something like like a space Martian person would wear. It didn't look. It didn't fit with it. It didn't. It just. They just looked out of place. And I saw. And I was like, hmm. And he's wearing just this like sweater thing, and he has the crystal in his hand. It's a Lemurian. So the lady, after I get the picture and she gets the water and we're getting situated. And she goes, "Where y'all from?" And I said, "Oh, we're from the Sacramento area, Rockland, up in that area." She goes, "Ah, I came up here and then I was like, I'll go back down and move down to Sacramento and I'll work back down there." And after I had already been up here and I went back down to Sacramento, I went back to this job. I couldn't do the job anymore. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feel of it. I quit and then I finally just came and moved back up here and came back up here and just started working and just stay focused. I said, "Honey, you're done with that timeline. You're done with that energy. Lovely, it's time to just do what you're supposed to be doing. And if the mountain called you up here to be of service, then come up here and be of service. Everything else will take care of itself. You'll be taken care of, you know. And sometimes you just need to hear that because a lot of people, we have to break this old cycle in our mind, this spellbound process of what we've been under that keeps us in this place of we got to work so hard. We got to do this. We got to do this and got to do this and da 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 da. It depends on what you really signed up for. Not knocking anything about work. Work's fine. But do something that makes you happy, not something that's going to put you in the grave. Let me say that again. Do something that makes you happy, not something that's going to put you into the grave. Because if you're slowly dying from doing a job, maybe you're not supposed to be there anymore, especially if you're not happy. Oh my God. Can you imagine what that's doing to your white blood cells and your red blood cells? It's killing them. If killing you is killing them. Okay. So she is just happy as a lark that she made up her mind and let go of that job and came back up and came back to that job. The boss gave her back her job. And I told her, I said, do what makes you happy, honey. Be in the flow of things. I said, we're in the flow. Coming up here, we're in the flow. We do what we're being called to do. We're in the flow. Okay, be in the flow. So, where do you in your life do you need to DC? What needs to be discontinued? I'm inviting you to take a look at that. What needs to be discontinued? Okay, DC it. DC. You might fall in love with that. I might regurgitate that back up into life and just start DCing. I'm sorry, you have been DC'd. Can you imagine someone upsets you and you you see them and you just look at them and say, you know what? I'm sorry. You have been DC and walk away. And then we're like, what just happened? She said you were DC. What does that mean? But anybody that's a doctor or a nurse will totally get what that means. So now you deceived something. So now you're going to go and look for PRN. PRN stands for when necessary. When you are moving up into the higher frequencies and you're moving up into the new organic timelines of Mother Earth and you are manifesting from there, you're not in lack, you're not in scarcity, you're not in fear, you're not in doubt, you're not in depression and anxiety because you're going to get to the root cause and find out that timeline that started all of it. And you're going to tell your DNA and your RNA to stop doing it, stop noting it. We're going to talk to the cells of the body, we're going to spiral that out. So now PRN stands for you only go to third dimensional, fourth dimensional energy when you have to. Food, gas, maybe to sleep. Deal with some paper stuff if you have to. Be aware of contracts that you're signing your name to now. We were already born into debt when we were first born. Your name and your birth certificate and social security already locks your butt into a debt line automatically. The whole game process after you've been on the planet for so long is to break the debt, to get out of debt. But because of the way things have been manifested on this earth to keep us locked into these timelines of debt. So when you, thank you, Spirit, when you make the conscious decision to DC something out of your life and then to look at what needs to be cleared and look at what you need to discontinue. When you recognize it for yourself, you're not only doing this for yourself, you're also doing it if you have for your children, you're helping them. You're also doing it for your bloodline, your generation, and your ancestors. So let's take a look at lack and scarcity. And I told my friend this was great because we got into this conversation on the way back home down from the mountain about freedom, being in freedom, living a life of freedom where we're not bound by lack and scarcity, lack of money, not enough money, just enough money to get by, just enough to pay the bills, just enough to kind of in this belief make us think that we're doing okay, but it still needs to be more money so you don't have to worry. And I said, that's coming because in order for us to get to that, the old paradigm has to come down. Which brings me to the next part of this, the plan of corrections. Now, the plan of corrections is how do you take a problem that's going on and you create a solution for it? You create a solution that's going to create a better outcome that is not currently going to keep the current outcome that's happening. So, like plan of corrections is this: if a patient was having weight loss, what's the plan of correction to help that patient get back into a healthy weight if they were losing too much weight? You're going to look at plan of correction. Okay, we're going to change their diet. We're going to find out what foods they really like. We're going to increase their meal intake. Instead of having three, maybe they have to have small meals of six a day to get their weight back up. We're going to monitor their weight. We're going to weigh them weekly, and then we're going to provide supplements of drinks and protein drinks in between that would help to get their weight back up. And then we will come back and reevaluate in another 20 to 30 days to see if this plan of corrections is doing well. If not, we're going to go back, have another meeting on it, regroup, and see if we need to make any further adjustments. This is what life is like when you are moving out of the third dimension and fourth dimensional energy, and you're going to break scarcity, you're going to break lack. And this was really cool because we were talking about what about the timeline of all the timelines of when there was the Great Depression. We're in that right now. And you want to know why I call it the new type of depression? Because with the new type of depression, it got aggravated by something that came in that had to suppress us, then brought in depression. Then now we are living in a physical depression of the economy that's being created on purpose. And because this planet has a habit of repeating the same timeline energy, it keeps repeating the cycle. So the energy that keeps repeating, you have to make a conscious decision of not consenting to it anymore, of not allowing that energy, of not allowing your vessel energy, your sovereignty being energy to follow that same timeline. If your grandparents were a part of the Great Depression, no wonder why you're dealing with lack and scarcity because it keeps getting passed on subconsciously. If they were a part of the Depression time, their children have children. Now they learn that and put that into their children. Then their children put that same teaching into their children, even if there wasn't a depression. But that energy of the depression time still follows throughout the generation. And we were talking about it's like 7 generations that we have to keep cleaning up lack and scarcity out of our system. It follows in everything you do, from the jobs. Now, here's how you know if you work for a good company. You work for a good company, there's no lack. Raises are without asking. They automatically do it just by eval and what you produce. They award you for it. Bonuses are given out. You have benefits. You're paid well for your energy exchange. You can live without worrying about, do I have enough to pay for my rent? Do I have enough to pay for my car note? Because I need a car to get back and forth to my job if I'm not using public transportation. Or am I in walking distance? Or am I working from home? Okay. You're happy because your needs are being taken care of. This is what it means to be working for a good company. Because, and here's the medicine. Now, this is where on Be So Light, where people get their ruffles, they get upset, and they get triggered because somewhere in their mind they think I'm talking about them, and I'm not. I'm simply showing how a company can be in lack and scarcity, and they're passing it on to their employees. But yet and still, they think they're doing a good service to their employees when they're not, because they too are coming from lack and scarcity and lack of prosperity and prosperous. All you got to do is sit back and look at it. All you got to do is look at your check. All you got to do is look around you. How are you living? How's your car look? Is it on its last leg? You got car problems. You got to take care of it. Do you have a car? You have the amount of money that needs to be coming in to take care of you. And because of the times we're living in right now, and because of all of the things of pay increase that we're forcing people to pay people more money hourly, now it filters in. So now they do the thing, they work people less than 40 hours because they don't want to have to pay the benefits. So they companies figured out how to get around that. Just work you just enough so we don't have to give you any more money. But do you see the irony of that? If you just treat people right in the first place and pay them what they're worth and whatever they're shelling out and they're doing for your company, treat them with that love and respect, everybody wins. Everybody wins. So the Great Depression energy, if you're living in lack and scarcity, your plan of correction is freaking DC that. Stop consenting to that timeline. Recognize it for what it is. This is shadow work. This is getting in there doing that shadow work. Recognize it for what it is and say, I am not consenting to that energy anymore. I am a creative being. I am coming from a creative place. This is what I'm choosing to bring into my life. My plan of correction is this. Boom! Speak it into form. Let there be light. Yes. Speak it into form. This is what it means to really go in there and to do that healing, because our relatives experience that, the struggle. And that energy is in the DNA as it keeps flowing, and it's matching you with like energy on the same level. Now, we can't stop anything that's going on right now because I'm sorry, this has to come down. This energy is going to come down. It has to, because we have to give birth to a new us and a new day. We have to give birth. We have to rebirth ourselves. In order to do that, we have to be able to let go of the enslavement that has trapped us into lack, into scarcity. We have to de-see it. We have to de-see that. And then we have to implement a new plan of correction for ourselves. And the magic behind the new plan of correction for ourselves is being able to look at your life and say, you know what? I, I'm I'm not okay with this anymore. And being able to stand in that and be in your truth. I'm going to share something with all of you. Those of you, if you don't have your own YouTube channel or some kind of media that you're following on, it is not a easy thing to do to come up and speak truth. It's not. But sometimes when you're being of service and you have to do it, you say the best you can, but you all know I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm sorry. I just have to say it like it is. And yes, I do love the F word because sometimes it has to be used to shake up the nervous system so you'll pay attention. What do, what do? So I'm going to invite you to do a DC, discontinue what no longer needs to be in your life, the energy, whatever you've been feeling it. I want you to see it and I want you to write DC on it. Write it out. Because when you write it out, that's you and your soul communicating. That's you putting it on paper. And yeah, you're really looking at it and you're connecting to it. You're pulling it up out of your cells. Okay. So write it down and then say, you know what? I'm going to DC this. I'm going to DC this. Underneath it, write a new order. But instead of saying a new order, you're going to write a new timeline belief. My new replacement of this is going to be I no longer live from a place of lack and scarcity. I'm getting rid of that and just move from that space. You have to retrain your brain, your subconscious mind, to accept a new plan of corrections because that's what your plan of corrections is. And then you're going to go back because it takes 28 days to change a behavior. You're going to go back in 28 days and see what have you manifested for yourself? What have you stepped into? Sometimes what happens, I'm going to tell you like it is. Can I just be frank? Sometimes we're so scared to just manifest exactly what we want because we're scared we're not going to get it. Well, how the hell are you going to get it if you don't just manifest it? If you just don't say, you know what, that sounds really good. I think I want that. And just claim it. Be a god. If that's too much for you, be a queen or be a king. Step into that. Practice there. I got your attention now? Okay. So here's the deal. Mercury goes direct tomorrow. Then we have new moon coming up on the 21st. All right. So if you're going to start something new for yourself and you're going to start DCing stuff, I want you to start DCing, DC, discontinue stuff between now and up to the 21st when the new moon comes in. Okay. Start DCing. Then, after you DC, what's your plan of correction? And your plan of correction is this: what is your next action that you're going to take? Because your plan of correction is you're taking something that needs to be improved. What are you going to implement? We call this in nursing terms plan of correction, but we also call it care plans. Plan of correction comes when the state walks in and they're going through all the nursing books and they're going through all the stuff and they're looking. And when the state walks in, all of us are like, oh God, they're going to go through the nursing. And when the state walks in and they go through a chart, a patient's chart, they find one thing and they go down that rabbit hole and they just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And then the next thing you know, you're getting called into a big ass meeting in that room, that office room, where everybody's sitting around at a big table with that patient's chart. And then they say the magic words between corporate and state. They say, well, what is the plan of corrections? After they give you a citation, after they find something. Then they want a plan of correction. So then you have to write out a plan of correction. And this is the magic in it. They make you go in and be the magical healer because you got to heal the situation, write it out. There's your manifestation. They make you write it out on a care plan, patient's name, the problem. Now you're going to write out the solution. Are you following me here? Because this is alchemy. And I don't want you to miss this. Do I need to bring him back up to it? Watch the light, watch the light. There we go. We're changing the gold. Here we go. So we're going to do the plan of corrections. Okay? You're writing it out. You're going to put a date on it when this is going to be met because the state's going to come back in 90 days, usually, sometimes 45, to check to see if the plan of corrections worked. And if it didn't work, do they have to cite your butt again until you get it right? They make all that money. And look how they manifest money. Oh, your plan of corrections didn't work, but now we're going to cite your butt. So what do you need to DC? What needs to be PRN when necessary? What's your plan of corrections? How are you going to implement that in your life? What needs to happen? We cannot afford to be doing craziness in this year. This is a very important year. And when we hit July, if you're like anybody like me that one time that hit 777 on a jackpot, we're going to be in July 777. That better be your jackpot. Hi, lovely. I got a nurse in the house. We're both retired. But she gets what I'm saying. You're going to DC what no longer serves you, put DC it right below it. This is alchemy. You're bringing it into fruition. Think about it. They have us write out the problem, write the solution, so it will manifest itself. Hello? You're going to do the same thing. But guess what? You don't have to pay off a student loan to do this. You don't have to go to nursing school to do this. Giving it to you for free here. You're just going to nurse yourself out of this because you're going to implement your own plan of correction. And sometimes a plan of correction is just how are you thinking? And why are you choosing to keep consenting to the energy? No more consenting to it. DC it. Your PRNs, You stay the hell out of 3 and 4 as much as possible. You only go there to get what you do, but you're going to keep your energy up in that higher fifth and sixth and seventh dimension. We have this. We got this. We have technology that's going to help us get there. But also, we have ourselves, the truth of ourselves. And for God's sakes, please, let all of you, please just stop this nonsense. And when you please just start trusting yourself, stop second guessing yourself. Just do it. If you're not ready to do it, I totally get it. Just wait till you feel the flow, feel the alignment, come from the heart. That's okay. But for God's sake, stop second guessing yourself. Like I said, if thinking from a God point of view is too much for you and you want to graduate yourself up there, just start off as a queen or a king. Start there. Then push yourself up into the God space and learn how to be a part of that all that is and create from there. Okay. So I've taught you Mount Shasta. I've taught you not tomorrow's not given to any of us. Don't wait. I taught you about how to DC something. I taught you about PRN when necessary. Taught you about a plan of corrections. Then I showed you this picture. Watch, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So everybody has a homework assignment. You have between today and tomorrow on to the 21st to do all your DC. Then what are you implementing? What's your plan of correction? How are you correcting your life? When you make that decision, stick with it for 28 days to make it where it's in your cycle, it's in your cells. Okay. I hope you all got a good lesson out of this because as I was taking that medicine bath, I was just seeing all the things of what we were talking about on the drive back. And yeah, the Great Depression and even Holocaust is all in our DNA. And if you see yourself in a lack mentality and you look around yourself and you have lack, that's where you want to DC that. That's where you want to neutralize the hell out of that and know that you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for your children if you have children, and you're doing it for your ancestors and your your own bloodline of what happened to them. It's all about healing. Then you can move forward. But you can't move forward if you're still pulling that whole thing with you. Do you see it? All right, lovelies. Why are you sitting at the closet door? Why aren't you laying down by the heat? What are you doing? Cleo, what are you doing? She's sleepwalking. Cat that sleepwalk. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been real with you. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, get rid of that. Thank you, thank you. Um, every don't. What are you doing? Hey, don't claw that, Cleo. Cleo, I'm gonna have to get off here because you're gonna go up. Cleo. Okay. Anyway, everyone be good to yourself. That's a wrap, Cleo. 4, 3, 2, 1. Cleo, what are you doing? Put put the bag down. Cleo.